Alberta's youth unemployment rate is the highest in the country. The job market here is extremely competitive, especially for those between 15 and 24 years old. For tips on how to help young people land a job is Blessie Matthew, who's an assistant dean for student success at the University of Alberta. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Now, let's talk about the mistakes first. What's the biggest mistake youth are making right now when looking for a job?
So I think one of the mistakes that youth are making is kind of a scattershot approach with applications. So they're taking that same application and putting it in with multiple different employers.
Okay.
And so what that leads to is a lack of really targeting to that employer, which then doesn't really always land well with an employer who might be getting a lot of interest. So the more targeted your application is, the more you can show you know about that employer, about the job and what they need,
Sure.
the better your chances are.
So the days of printing off a resume, like 15 of them, and just dropping them off, that's not going to do it anymore.
Very rarely does the trick.
Okay, so what are the key things to do in the application process to try to get your name to the top of the pile?
So there are very few organizations that don't have a website, right? That don't have something online, some kind of online presence. So the first thing a young person should do is really think about where they want to work and what they want to do. Look at those organizations, see what's happening on their social media, what are the most pressing challenges, issues for that employer, what's their approach to customer service, who are their clients, all of that are really easy things that a student or a young person can learn online.
Okay.
And then fit those things into the application, right? Cover letters are really critical. Because that's where you can introduce yourself to an employer and show your alignment with what they do.
Now, if you do those things successfully, say you get to an interview, what are your tips to make sure you're prepared for an interview and can perform in that interview?
So again, anticipating what is of interest to this employer. Who do they typically hire? What kinds of skill sets are they looking for? So if it's customer service, for example, how do you then give examples and articulate? So it's not just saying, I'm really great at customer service, but what are the examples you can use to show that you have actually done that, and not maybe necessarily in a paid position, but have you volunteered? Have you played sports? Have you worked on a team? All of that matters.
Okay. Now, here's a tricky one, because this sometimes comes at the end of an interview. Questions to ask them.
Yes.
You've answered all the questions. Now it's your turn. Is there a way to prepare a question or two to really put yourself above?
Yeah. I mean, again, the internet's a great tool to look for some of these really great questions. But what's really important about asking those questions is asking things that are beyond what you could have easily found online, and showing curiosity about what this organization actually does, what the job is actually like. A lot of people ask questions about the work environment, because you also want, as a job seeker, to know that you're walking into an environment where you can thrive and contribute as well. So there's a lot of things you can ask about. We typically say, though, maybe not asking about salary and the compensation package at that point in the process to avoid that, but really focusing on the job and organization.
Well, this has been very informative. Hopefully helps some people at home, because it is tricky out there. Certainly appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming in this morning. If you're a student or U of A alumni and you need help in your job search, you can also go to the University of Alberta Career Centre for help as well.